let's go over what we did last time. We had some leftover problems with our application. If we look at the code, I wanted you guys to try and do the diagonal check and the restart game. A little context, we're building a little tic-tac-toe game to start, just to see what's involved. There's a little bit of JavaScript, some amount of HTML, CSS. We're going to finish this code here, actually. We're just going to build along. So let's take what we had in our check column. We're just going to copy that down into the diagonal. And we're also going to copy all that other code, actually, because it's similar code. It's doing similar things, so we're just going to copy it all down. But this check diagonal is not going to need any parameters like we had before. Before, when we checked the column, we wanted to know which column to check. So with the diagonals, we know which column to check. We want to check the first diagonal, which is 0, 1, 2. So if you think about the grid that we have up here, the 0, 0 will be here at the top left. The 1, 1 would be in the middle. And then the 2, 2 will be done in the bottom right. Okay? So that's the first diagonal. But we actually want to check the other diagonal as well. It forms an X, right? So we're going to do that as well. I'm just going to copy. Oh, you want to copy this block as well. I'm going to do that now. But we can't redeclare the variables. I'm just going to reuse them. So just get rid of the lets, and that should clean up your error messages. Okay? So what this says is if our first item and the second item and the third item, I think we did explain this last time, is it checks them all to see if they are matching. So if item 1 is X, item 2 is X, and item 3 is X, then we return true. Same thing with the second check. But we want to switch the column around in this one. So instead of checking the 0 column on the first row, we're going to check the third column and just switch them around. Okay, so instead of 0, 1, 2, it is now 2, 1, 0. And that forms the diagonal check that we want to do. But we're going to run into an issue when we run this code. And if you guys are not running the project, we're running npm run dev. So let's take a look at what this does. I want to add the diagonal check to our check method up here. And there's no parameters there, so we just want to add that all in here. Okay, so that should be using our diagonal matching check now. If we go to the web page, it's already got it loaded. All right, so I added one item to the page, but now my app breaks because something's gone wrong. Wait, Andy, wait. Please wait. Okay. So what's happening here? I've already explained to Andy and Waylon. But if we do a console log, we already have a couple of them. Diagonal, diag match. Now if we run the application, we try clicking once, it says diagonal is true. So I want you guys to think about why that is. Like we have the new check, and it's saying true when we add one thing. Andy, please stop. I'm going to explain it. Yeah, I don't need you to explain it, unless you want to come up here and teach. Okay. All right. So when we added this check, we had a couple of conditions, right? We have one diagonal and the other diagonal. So what's happening here is when we check the first diagonal, it says 0, 0, x, and 0, 0 is an x. 1, 1 is empty. So that condition is not true. It's going to skip over this first one. But what happens in the second one is it's going to check the first row, the last column, and that's empty. And then it's going to check the middle. It's going to check the middle tile, and it's going to be empty. And then it's going to check the last tile at the bottom left, which is also empty. So what happens is this condition is going to return true because empty is equal to empty is also equal to empty. So what we need to do here is we don't want empty to be allowed here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a item 1 not equal empty. And that's going to be an AND condition. Now, I want you guys to also think about why we don't need to check all of the items to say item 2 is not equal empty and item 3 is not equal empty. Okay. Don't worry about it. So what this tells the computer is, okay, so if item 1 is not empty, then proceed. And then it checks item 1 again to see if it is equal to item 2. So if item 2 is not empty, it's something. It's X or O. So it doesn't really matter if we check item 2 if it's empty or not. If it's empty, then this second condition that we're checking here doesn't matter. So if, let's say, item 1 is equal to X and item 2 is O, this condition is going to be false, so it's going to not run the return here, and it's going to skip to the last one. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy that condition from the first check into from our second check into the first check because they both need it. All right, so now if we run this code, it should be back to normal, and you can keep playing the game regardless of where you click.
Score.
All right, until somebody scores, yes. So now our diagonal check is working, and if I try to continue the game, it will not work. All right. So the reset is the last bit of functionality for this game.